Breaking news going on right now as we come on the air. Israeli Defense Forces releasing this video you see of tanks in the Gaza territory, saying troops are still on the ground as they widen their assault aimed at eliminating Hamas.
And that's as Israel starts its new phase of its operation, releasing video of what it says are airstrikes on Hamas commanders and those underground tunnels. The Gaza skyline lighting up overnight with internet and phone service largely cut off. Israel also taking a hit, a Hamas rocket striking an apartment complex in Tel Aviv. We're going to start our team coverage here in the region and beyond. This morning, Ian Pannell is there near the Gaza border. Ian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. You can hear the sound of the tanks, the sound of mortars and fighter jets overnight. It really does look like we're entering a new phase in this conflict. Israel is not calling it an incursion at the moment, but its forces crossed over the border into Gaza last night, and they're there on the ground fighting right now.
This morning, Israeli forces inside Gaza announcing they're expanding ground operations. The IDF releasing this video saying it shows their forces operating across the border. Overnight, Israeli fighter jets launching what it says was the heaviest bombardments since Hamas attacked Israel, killing over 1,400 people. The IDF claiming it hit 150 targets, killing 2 senior Hamas commanders and fighters and destroying underground tunnels. Hamas claiming Israeli troops were ambushed in 3 areas and sustained casualties, but the IDF denying it's had any losses. I spoke to Mark Regev this morning, an advisor to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Is that what expansion means?
I think expansion means just beefing up the pressure on Hamas on all fronts.
And in all ways?
In all ways.
It sounds not only a difficult undertaking, but a very long undertaking.
It could be long, and it many challenges. But we have a model. And the model is defeating ISIS in Syria and Iraq.
With communications cut in Gaza, there are fewer images emerging of the situation on the ground. Aid agencies like UNICEF, Doctors Without Borders and the Palestinian Red Crescent saying they've lost contact with their teams. And as the military activity intensifies, the people of Gaza painting a bleak picture of life under siege amid reports of thousands of civilian casualties. Jason Shawa is one of hundreds of Palestinian Americans trapped in Gaza, hunkered down with his wife and 2 small children.
Keep waking up in a panic, in a frenzy. They have nightmares, and moms and dads are having a hell of a time trying to keep them calm at night. It's just horrible. I mean, what else can I say?
Despite the increased bombardment, Hamas still able to launch rocket attacks on Israel. The latest strikes hitting an apartment complex in Tel Aviv. And the escalating conflict reaching the floor of the United Nations. The General Assembly adopting a resolution calling for an immediate, durable and sustained humanitarian truce between Israeli forces and Hamas militants in Gaza. But Israel responding, this is a black day for the UN, which has finally lost all relevance or legitimacy. While military operations expand, the families of the more than 200 hostages holding a vigil, calling on Israeli leaders to talk to them immediately.
How does a land operation help to get hostages out?
Hamas isn't going to suddenly become a humanitarian organization and decide, to do the right thing.
Well,
and
the
release the
hostages are
hostages.
leverage for them.
And so we believe the correct way to get the hostages out is just to keep beefing up the pressure on Hamas.
Militarily?
Militarily and politically, diplomatically, with their allies.
A number of ways they're trying to beef up the pressure, but what we're hearing here is mainly that military pressure. The sound of intense activity being launched into Gaza. As we said in that report, very limited communications, but we do know from a couple of voices inside Gaza that it's been an incredibly difficult, dangerous and stressful night.
Incredibly difficult, no doubt about it, Ian. And what do we know about those 229 hostages? Because there's a real concern here about how they can get to safety if this ground invasion or operation intensifies. We know Qatari officials, they've been negotiating with Hamas, but having Israeli forces on the ground may really change things, right?
Yes, it's undoubtedly going to be far more challenging for for any negotiations that are underway to try and get those hostages out. You're right, Qatar's involved, Israel's involved, America is involved, and Egypt as well. So a number of countries trying to put pressure on Hamas. Now, interestingly, what Mark Regev said there, and also what I heard from the defense minister yesterday, Gallant, was that they believe that the only way you can apply the right kind of pressure is by this kind of military action. But as we heard from the hostages, they're the families of the hostages, they're deeply upset. They feel that they want to hear from the Israeli government. We're now being told that Defense Minister Gallant will meet with the families of the hostages tomorrow.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.